where the agony of defeat is apparent.
Josh, how hard is it to just get here again and have this happen?
It's extremely difficult. I feel like I let my teammates down tonight.
Your emotions normally aren't this emotional for us. Is what has brought this on? It's
just missed opportunities throughout the game. It's been a long season. I hate how it ended, and it's going to stick with me for a long time.
I think it ended up being 5 turnovers overall. I know it just happened, but can you kind of take us into why it felt like you guys kind of got screwed?
Yeah, can't win with 5 turnovers. I fumbled twice, threw 2 picks. When you shoot yourself in the foot like that, you don't deserve to win football games.
Hey, Josh, having said that, does it add the frustration, kind of the way the game ended with a couple of questionable calls?
Yeah, I mean, losing that way regardless, losing in the playoffs is not fun, so.
Did you get an explanation on the Brandon Cooks play at the end?
No.
Can you process how the team was able to stay in the game all the way to that catch or interception play in overtime despite all the adversity?
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's, again, we were battle tested all year. Down 2 scores at halftime. Come out, sack, fumble, hold them to 3. Find ourselves leading that game. And if 1 or 2 plays go our way, it's a different story.
Josh, the play at the end of the first half, you had 16 seconds, no timeouts. Why not just take a knee there and go into the half?
Just trying to be aggressive. Can't do that.
Josh, what did you say to your teammates after the game?
I haven't been doing a lot of talking other than I love my teammates and I'm extremely sorry. I'm disappointed in how this ended.
Josh, you mentioned this at the year. Is there anything in particular that's sticking out to you about this season?
Not at the moment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, so an emotional Josh Allen shouldering the responsibility there post-game, saying he let his teammates down, but, I mean, in his defense, he and his teammates are not in this situation without the heroics of Josh Allen. This team protected the football so well throughout the season, and it's the turnovers that do them in. Allen taking full responsibility as it's another overtime heartbreak in the playoffs. Back in studio with the fellas, and we heard it reiterated by Josh Allen there and out of the mouth of Tony Romo not long ago that it's the turnovers in this game that really did spell the ultimate disaster. What looked different tonight, B-Mac, out of Josh Allen, a guy who so good with that pill all year long, seemed a little bit more frivolous with it tonight?
I think he just was careless and not understanding the moment. And when you watch Josh Allen the entire season, I mean, he's one of the few quarterbacks in the National Football League, fellas, that he's had a plate full every game because of the limited playmakers surrounding him. So his plate is full every game, and he got to eat it all. He can't afford to get full. And he's been able to handle that said workload week in and week out. And I think he programs it in his mind that I got to be a hero every play, especially in the playoffs. So I go back to that untimely fumble right before halftime. It's one thing to be careless, but it's another thing to not know and recognize the moment. You had no timeouts. There's 12 or 10 seconds left on the clock. You scramble. You're clearly nowhere close to being field goal range. When you scramble, just get down. Because even if you get another 10 yards, you're not going to be able to attempt a field goal. So that is where I have the bigger issue with Josh Allen, because turnovers happen. You're playing against high-level players. It happens.
Doing too much in the wrong moments.
Yeah, recognize the moment. Know the situation. Go into half what the score at that time was, I think they were up
17-10.
17-10.
They gave up the free 3.
Going to half down 7, and you were getting the football out of half, if I'm not mistaken. But instead of not knowing and embracing the moment, you're trying to make something happen that isn't there, and you created points for the Denver Broncos. And I think that's a learning experience for Josh Allen, always emphasizing the moment. You know, Ben, when I played in Pittsburgh, our defensive coordinator, Dick LeBeau, he used to always tell us as a unit, anytime you're on the football field, always reiterate the situation to yourself. 3rd and 10, 2nd and 5. Situational plays, red zone. The ball is on the 3-yard line. Just reiterate that, because I think if Josh would have recognized and said, you know what, I'm scrambling, let me just get down, let's go in the half, readjust.
Yeah.
Then you don't give those 3 points. That was very, very significant, because if you look at the end of regulation, if Denver don't get the 3 points right before halftime, Buffalo wins the ball game.
And here's my thing. At this point in the season, it always comes down to a handful of plays. And for Josh Allen, we're so used to him being so good in these moments that I think just there were a couple plays tonight, the 2 interceptions, the one that P.J. Locke had and the one that McMillan had, just underthrown deep balls by Josh. We're not necessarily used to seeing him make, and obviously the fumble before halftime can't happen. It looked like he just, lost his train of thought for a second. But there was also a play at the end of the game as they were going in to kick the game-tying field goal. He missed Dawson Knox over the middle, kind of on the 10-yard line. That's a throw we're used to seeing Josh making. Who knows? They've got a timeout left. They're either taking another shot to the end zone or they're kicking a field goal from the 10-yard line. So there were just a handful of plays that Josh didn't make tonight that I think ultimately ended up hurting this offense when you have 5 turnovers.
JJ, the roster is the roster at this point, but I'm sitting here watch Josh Allen take full credit for this loss.
Yep.
And maybe the turnovers were the ultimate end to the season. But I can't help but think that this Buffalo Bills roster outperformed their talent this year. Getting here to the divisional round, do you feel the same way that Josh Allen did as much as he could with what he was given?
I do, and that's the reason that a lot of people believe that Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL. I think that no one is going to argue if you put him in the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks and players in the NFL. That is who Josh Allen is. And I know it sounds cold and callous, especially after we just watched Josh Allen through tears shoulder all of this. But the truth is it does fall on him. And, I know that Brandon, being the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, attempted to get more wide receivers. It was not for lack of trying. You probably had to try harder, right? I mean, the Miami Dolphins wouldn't part with Jalen Waddle with what you offered them. Then you got to offer him more. And that you were fortunate to even get Brandon Cooks when you got him, because it was after the trade deadline.
Yep.
And you needed the Saints to release him and no one pick him up off waivers for you to even have him in that moment. Keon Coleman has not worked out, right? And yes, they do have talent, right? This isn't a talentless team. They have James Cook. They have tight ends. They have Deion Dawkins, one of the best left tackles in the game. They have guys, right? This isn't Josh Allen and the Funky Bunch, but but Josh does have to do more. And we talk about the 5 turnovers. And look, I'm not going to put the Brandon Cooks and McMillan taking his candy away from him on him. I'm not going to put the strip fumble, strip sack when he gets hit from the blind side. But, of course, the end-of-half fumble and the P.J. Locke interception, because they're down 6 points. It's the 3rd quarter. They're at the Denver 40. It's 2nd and long. Like, that is still a scenario where they can get 3 points out of it, at the very least, right? And so that was a very consequential turnover as well. Unfortunately, this is what's going to dog Josh Allen. It has for his entire career, and it will continue to until he can get over that hump. That's all he's going to hear about.
And let's keep it real. When it comes to their roster, right, they have been, battling something that most teams battle, injuries. Joshua Palmer was supposed to be a main contributor in the passing game. He's injured. You lost Gabe Davis last week. He's injured. So having any one of those guys, it improves the room.
I gotta hear a different name.
But
I gotta hear a bigger.
Joe.
I know. I'm just having a hard time on Josh Allen's behalf.
Wait a minute.
Watching him turn all these guys into more than they actually are.
Well, what has Kyle Shanahan done in San Francisco? Name me another team that has battled more injuries than them, and all they've done was find ways to win ball games. That's all I'm saying. Because to your point
that's a quarterback who has the insulation of one of the finest offensive minds in the NFL.
But you're making a point where there's no point to be made, because with all those names that you're talking about that doesn't resonate to the football community, they still should have won this ball game.
Yeah.
They still should have won this ball game with Brandon Cooks.
They had 10 more minutes of time of possession. And if I gave Josh Allen the Denver Broncos pass catchers, I would say that they're going to win this game. Like, I don't believe or not believe so much in the Buffalo Bills receiving group and skill position players any more or less than I did with Bo Nix and his group.
What was the stat you said? The Bills didn't punt one time.
Yeah, they had 6 scoring drives and they turned the football over 5 times.
So
no punts.
Punts would have done him good in this game.
It wouldn't. He could have had.
A punt would have been a great play.
I'm sorry to
Jerry
cut you
Rice
off.
and Randy Moss. If you turn the ball 5 times,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I can hear the great people of Denver saying, "What about our guy?"
That's right.
And Ben DiNucci does have to answer to his home state here shortly. Ben, in this moment, 26 of 46, 279, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. These are the types of games that change the way people say Bo Nix. What did you make of his performance?
I think people are now going to be putting kind of Caleb Williams, Bo Nix in this next upper echelon category of quarterback. You're seeing Caleb Williams in the NFC do it with the late game, fourth quarter heroics. You're seeing Bo Nix do it on the AFC. And the question marks have been, can they keep doing this? And week in, week out, yes, they've been able to keep doing it. And the thing that impresses me the most with Bo Nix is when they're behind the chains, 3rd and longs. It seems like, hey, let's just get out of here alive. Let's run the ball. Let's punt. It seems like he almost kind of flips the switch on 3rd and longs and says, all right, I'm going to use my feet. I'm going to find a completion down the field and convert this. And so I think it's a big testament to what Bo Nix is doing. I also think it's a huge testament to Sean Payton and how he's called plays around this team. There was no backing down from Sean Payton tonight. They were pushing the ball down the field from first quarter to overtime. And to have a play caller who has that much trust in your quarterback, I think for Bo Nix, like, the sky's the limit. He's got to be loving life right now.
It's not a fluke anymore, right, with Bo Nix and this Denver Broncos team. They continue to figure out ways. And yes, of course, there was the pass interference there at the end that got them in position to kick the field goal short. But Bo Nix continues to just find ways in the fourth quarter and, of course, in this situation, overtime. Also, when the offense is not really running the football well, you're facing the Buffalo Bills. One thing that we all know about the Buffalo Bills defense is you can run the football on them. They had 80 yards rushing tonight, and they had a 5th period to play in as well. And so I will also say, and I do want to give appropriate love to the offense, but the defense, man, Alex Singleton came out there and played. Jaquan McMillan making the play on that ball that he did to get the ball away from Brandon Cooks.
Number of guys separating ball carrier from ball throughout this game.
I mean, big hits. Talanoa Hufanga was just popping dudes out there, right? So this defense, yes, they did give up 30 points, right? They also took the football away 5 times. They also made the opponent feel it, and they also ultimately won this football game. So there were mistakes made by the Buffalo Bills, but the Denver Broncos forced the Buffalo Bills to make a lot of them.
Bo Nix, 279, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He had an outstanding game, to you guys' point, when he lost Franklin, he lost Pat Bryant, and for a moment he lost Marvin Mims. And he still made things happen. So I love the ability to see the growth from Bo Nix, because he grew in this moment, because standing on the opposite side of the football field was Josh Allen. And he knew he needed to be at his best. So when you talk about Bo Nix moving forward, the luxury that he has, playing at home. The very next game, he will be at home. So they got to come to Denver. So I love everything about what I saw from Bo Nix. I love how Sean Payton was dialing up plays that he knew Bo Nix was comfortable with. I love Bo Nix being a +1 in the running game, because to JJ's point, they couldn't run the football. Bo Nix led them in rushing. Now, I am concerned about that moving forward.
Big time.
Because, losing J.K. Dobbins, it seems like even though you have R.J. Harvey, you still don't have that legit RB1 type production that J.K. was giving them. But in tonight's matchup, guys, it did not hurt them, because their quarterback was so prolific in throwing the football. Moving forward, you got to get more from your running backs. Because you can't put all of that pressure on your young quarterback and hope that he can deliver for 4 quarters. But tonight, he was the better quarterback on the football field.
Nix is now the elder statesman in the AFC with Drake May and C.J. Stroud.
That's crazy.
The 2 younger quarterbacks. They're 25 years old, and Bo Nix is going to be hosting an AFC championship game. It's a city where if you win a Super Bowl, you get to open some steakhouses. Unfortunately, it's the Elway story arc continued for Josh Allen. I know no Super Bowls just yet, but mired in that inability to get there despite high-level play is the story for Josh Allen. The story